episode is brought to you by Pib Extra. Shout out Elise. They have the Pib plug. Wow, you guys, welcome back to Track and Chat. This is episode 2. I'm so excited. There are notes on that page and there are notes on these pages. Where to begin? I just want to address the Los Angeles wildfires and just take a second to say how devastating it has been to watch that. I live in South Orange County, so we aren't directly affected, but just the amount of devastation, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that, because although I had so much fun at Supercross, it was not lost on me that just an hour, up the freeway, people's lives have been rocked. I just want to take a moment to say that I'm praying and thinking and sending all of my love and positive thoughts and energy to the people of Los Angeles. With all that said, let's get into first race of Supercross. Anaheim won. Vroom, vroom. The first item on the docket tonight, the pits. So if you aren't familiar with Supercross, each race has a FanFest pit area where each factory has their own rig, essentially, with the bikes, the mechanics who work on those bikes. It's where riders sign autographs. That's one thing about Supercross that I think is so fantastic. Access that the fans have to the riders and the mechanic, it's all right there. You literally can walk up, see the mechanics working on a bike. If a rider was out in practice or the bike stalled or a malfunction, they can come back to the rig and the fans can watch the mechanics working on the bike. And I think that the mechanics are the backbone of every rider. If you don't have a good mechanic, you don't have a good race. You don't have a good season. So long story short, the pits are so fun and cool. Companies like Alpinestar, they have their own little rig area. They have installations. You can look at gear that they wear. They gave out free buttons, like old school buttons. You got to pick your favorite rider number, and then they literally pressed the buttons right in front of you. It was so cool, and I want to show you the ones that I got. I put the buttons on my bag strap as I was walking around. This is my favorite one. On Friday, the day before Supercross, Dirt Studios and Alpinestars released their collaboration, and if you don't know Dirt Studios, it's a brand that has throwback designs on t-shirts and sometimes hats, and it's got like Atlanta 1993 Supercross or Redbud 1996. It's very cool. I'm a huge fan. I'm trying not to geek out too much. I'm obsessed with the content. I think it's cool because the brand feels a little mysterious and who is Dirt Studios? Who runs this account? All of the content he posts is like vintage Supercross, vintage racing, sometimes Supercross, and the sponsors and gear can get very basic and boring. The same thing every year, the same designs every year. And me and my little sister have always said this, especially about Thor. Sometimes they feel like they're living in the past. No new innovation. There's nothing fresh, nothing new. Even if it was what Dirt Studios and Alpinestars did, which is a nod to the past, neon colors, big loud print. That to me, even though it's been done, is fun because no one's doing that. And this guy just made an entire brand based on that. Anyways, I could, go on forever about Dirt Studios. And it's just cool. It's a coolness. It's a cool factor that the sport needs and that he is providing for us. So all of that to say, Dirt Studios and Alpinestars collabed. It came out on Friday, the day before Supercross. The installation at the Alpinestars rig had the gear that he designed, that I think Jason Anderson was the face of. I love it. I want more of it. I ordered the pink shirt from the collection. I'll put pictures up. I am just loving that direction. Loved the photos for the campaign, Chef's Kiss, obsessed. Next. Oh, okay. Next item in the pits. The riders are out there. They're signing autographs, signing posters, just like your basic poster, just like this. Kawasaki. Shout out. They did it right this year, you guys. They gave out postcards, okay? Do you see this? For their riders. Jorge and Jason, okay? Two of the coolest. It shows on the back of the postcard, so you get the front. The back, a little blurb about them. Another photo, and then you get the blurb. Their social handles, their career achievements, height, weight, their hometown, when did they turn pro, who's their mechanic. This is the I want, that we deserve. As much as I love a poster, don't get me wrong, have 1,000 of them that I haven't hung up, and it's a perfect size, and they're signing these. Something small, but like impactful. Are you feeling me? Quality. This I want to keep. I digress. Let's move on to the races, okay? The best. When you get to your seat and the lights dim and there's lasers and there's fireworks, the national anthem, and then one of my favorite parts, the rider intros. Don't even get me started. Dylan Ferrandis, shout out to you, my friend. You had the best intro song. I'm going to put the title and the artist right here. It's French, it's European, it's fun, it's upbeat. I bet nobody in the crowd or didn't care or gave a rip, but I gave a rip. I love that song. You're an icon for that. Runner up for best song, Jet Lawrence. He had Heads Will Roll by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, the remix version. And yeah, I just thought it was great. Let's talk about the heat races. 250 heat race 1. Deegan was out front. Not a shock there. First heat race was kind of a yawn fest. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Davies gave Deegan like a little bit of a run for his money, but that lasted for like 30 seconds. After the heat race, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's not going to be a shock to anyone who's followed the sport for the last few years. Deegan has kind of taken up this like villain role. I think that Supercross loves to have a good villain. Deegan is definitely embracing that role. He mentioned Levi Kitchen. He didn't mention him by name. The interviewer was like, that seemed like an easy race for you. You were out front. No shock there. And he's like, well, yeah, that rider decided to take a break this weekend. It's only furthering the narrative that he's kind of like the bad guy saying, oh, well, I don't have competition now because the other guy decided to take a break this weekend. Levi Kitchen said came down with a virus. He was unable to practice. He was unable to do media day. He was unable to qualify for A1. He was forced essentially to pull out of West Coast, and now he's going to be racing East Coast. Now we don't get to see him race against Deegan, which sucks because no Levi, no competition for Deegan, which it gives an opportunity for another rider to prove himself and compete against Deegan. But let's face it, Deegan's probably going to win each race. I think Deegan is an amazing athlete. I think that he is so gifted and talented at 19 years old. It's just like, it's hard to root for the villain, you know? It's hard to cheer for the villain, at least for me. Heat 2 was for Julian Bomer, another youngster, 18 years old, out in front. Julian had the fastest practice time. It's no surprise that then he was out in front. There was a fun little back and forth between him and Smith, the Triumph rider, but it was short-lived. If you don't know and you're not familiar with Supercross, there's 2 heat races. The first half of the riders are in Heat 1. The second half of the riders are in Heat 2. The top 10 automatically go to the main event, and then those who didn't make the top 10 go to what's called the LCQ race, which is the last chance qualifying race. All right, moving on to the 450 Heat 1 race. Exciting. At the start, there were several guys that crashed. Jet had a terrible start. Ooh, I learned that when you are racing in the heat race, let's say you finish 7th, you're either going to be 13th or 14th on the gate. So the further down towards, so it starts from the middle and then goes out. You want those middle spots because that allows you to just go straight down the middle to get the whole shot. The more you know. Roxon, haven't heard that name in a minute, and finished first in the 450 Heat Race 1. Okay, 450 Heat 2 race. I called this one the heat of hurdles. Lots of guys going down. Oh my gosh. Malcolm Stewart, you freaked me the freak out. He had such a terrible fall. He flew off of his bike, landed on his back. He got the wind knocked out of him, but in the moment, it took him forever to get up. And we were just like, I was like biting my nails, like, please, please, please get up. He's such a good rider, and sucks to see so early in the race a guy go down, and it took him forever, but he stood up, thank God. You know, he left the track, which forced him to compete in the LCQ to get to the main. And shout out to him. What a trooper. To Malcolm Stewart, you're a real one. Oh, also, it's one thing like he goes down, but his brother is taping the broadcast. I don't know how you can watch your brother go down and you're just like, he's not getting up. You're not sure if he's like gonna be paralyzed or if he just got the wind knocked out of him. It's like, that's why this sport is so crazy to me. It's like one wrong move and it can be career ending. So also shout out to James Stewart for holding himself together, being composed and a professional. I would not be able to do that. I'd be losing my damn mind. And that takes us to the 250 main. Shout out Joe Shimoda. My guy! I don't know what it is about Joe Shimoda. Actually, I do know what it is. He just seems like a just down to earth type of guy. I've just been rooting for him for years now. He's had ups and downs. I feel like he's gotten the short end of the stick in a lot of ways, and this was his night. A1 win, 250. Let's freaking go. Joe Shimoda, you deserve it. And like Deegan goes down, bunch of guys go down, opens the gate for Joe to get out in front. Bomer was right behind him. No shock there. It was a solid ride from Bomer. He took second. Deegan managed to claw his way to fifth. Smith, the Triumph rider, came in third, rounding out the podium for you. Also, I thought it was so funny. Like, when do they ever give an interview to the fifth place rider? They did that for Deegan. I get why, like, people want to hear from him. Okay, cool. And then the 450 main, you guys, this 450 main, this is what Supercross is made for. This is what I look forward to every year. It was drama, baby, from the start. This race had everything. Jason Anderson, did he push Jet? Jorge coming out of the gate for the whole shot. Let's freaking go. One of those guys who has really great starts. Tomac quickly passed Jorge. That sucked. But also a few seconds later, Tomac is down. Chase ran him over. It was a whole thing. Not Jet getting stuck on the tough blocks. Last night, everyone was having a tough time with the tough blocks. Watching the race back on TV, Ricky was like, I think we need to rewatch that start because I think Jason Anderson may have had something to do with Jet getting stuck. As I watched it back, I'm like, yeah, Jason, like you kind of like were leaning on Jet there, but that is racing, you know? You got to get off the pot. Jorge, A for effort, dude. Your first official A1. You did good. He got past fairly quickly and then he had a fall, which didn't help. I think he would have finished top 10 had he not had the fall. My guy Chase Sexton with his first A1 win. We love to see it. I love to see Chase win. Honestly, you guys, like he had the most, besides getting stalled out, he had an amazing solid race and he is so freaking fast. Even when he got stuck and Roczen was like right behind him, Roczen couldn't even catch him. He gave him a wide open opportunity to pass him in that moment. Even Roczen couldn't catch him. Love that for you, Chase. Jason Chipotle Anderson, that's what me and my little sister call him. He finished third. A great solid race as well. Said something like, I am still able to compete at a super high level. And I am riding at my best. I am able to compete with those guys. And you are, Jason. Congrats. Congrats on your finish. Oh my God. Shout out again to Malcolm for finishing the race. You finished top 10. You literally almost died and you finished top 10. Finishing out 11th and 12th were Jet and Hunter Lawrence. They're gonna come back. It's fine. I have some honorable mentions. First, I think her name is Haley. She was doing pre-interviews before the race started. She was interviewing Jorge Prado, and girl, shout out to you. You spoke for all the girlies and were like, you're looking great tonight. I was sitting with my brother-in-law and shout out Cody. Cody looks at me and I look at him and I was like, did you hear her say that? And he's like, did she just say you look great tonight? And I'm like, yeah, she did just say that. Like the most hilarious moment. He's one of the most gorgeous looking people out on the track. Like, I think I would say you look great tonight too. And then there was like a really cool Oakley commercial. Now, most of the time these commercials that they play in between the races, kind of lame. Like a dirt track, a rider that you don't know, or maybe you do know, and it's just like a lame song. Here's our new product and blah, 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 blah. But Oakley is OG. They stand the test of time. Their commercial, I said it was like Dune and Tomb Raider. That was the vibe of the commercial. And it was just great. And you know what? Monster is too. Monster, you have cool commercials too. It's really just the songs, you guys. If these brands could just pick good music, like pay a little extra. You have one great song that can carry you. I don't care what anyone says. If you have a good song, like pay for the licensing of the song. It is worth it. It's on the screen right now. I freaking love this song. Like, oh, they're in tune. Get with it, people. Hire me. I hope I get to go to more races. I definitely want to go to Anaheim too. Next weekend is San Diego. Oh, there was the cutest little girl and she was sitting on her dad's lap. She had her camera out like this, filming the races the entire time. If that was not a sign from God saying like, do it for that little girl. I'm doing all of this for that girl. I'll put the picture up. Cutest moment for the girlies who love the sport, who grew up watching it just like I did. Like, that is who I'm doing this for. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Tell all your friends. Love ya. Bye.